Hi everybody, I'm Kathy Wing, Artistic Director of the Randall Theater Company, and we're back here in the corner of my living room for Ghostlighting Theater in the Dark. Tonight, we're marking 3 months of putting together our little ghostlighting show. The first one hit the Facebook page on Monday, May 4th. Since that time, we've brought you lots of interviews with Randall Theater personalities from here locally to Seattle and Honolulu, Hawaii. We've also shared some of your talents with our Randall Challenges and our public domain concert series. We saw the closure of the First Street space and the start of the search for a new location to do Randall Theater Company shows. When we started Ghostlighting, we didn't have any idea how long COVID-19 would keep the theaters closed, but one thing we did know. We at the Randall Theater Company wanted to stay in touch with you, our friends and fans, our performers and patrons, basically you, our entire Randall family. So here we are. We're going to be bringing you some of our favorite moments from the past 3 months. We've also got some new interview segments rescued from the cutting room floor because they were simply too good not to share. So coming up in our first New to You segment, Kristen Calvin talks about some of her most thrilling moments on stage, and Ella Diaz shows us a memento from her first Randall show, and we take a look back at an equipment failure from those early days. But first, one of our favorite things to do is show you theater games you can play at home with the family or on video chat. Here's one of the first ones we brought you. Take it away, Brianna and John.
Hi everybody, I'm John.
I'm Bree.
And we're going to teach you some games that you can play at home with whoever you're quarantined with, whether it's your family or your friends, or maybe you're by yourself and you're active on Zoom. That's up to you. But these are going to be games that you can play, in an improv setting. Normally, we'd all be in a theater, we'd be, making each other laugh and using our brains to create something, but we can't get together right now, so we're going to teach you guys these games that maybe you can just play and have your own fun. So the idea for this first one that we're going to teach is it's the word game. All right, so one person counts to 3, and then both people, you can only play 2 at a time. I guess you could play 3, but it would get very hard. Very hard. That's expert level. Okay, so 2 people at a time. Yeah. 2 people at a time, and you're going to say 1, 2, 3, and then you're both going to say a word at the same time, okay? So it's kind of hard to hear. You got to use your ears and your mouth at the same time, and your brain in between, because you got to be thinking about the next word. So you both say a word, and it can be completely random, or you can set a rule, like, it has to be, this kind of word, whatever, but we'll get to that. The idea is that you arrive at the same word. So you hear their word, you say your word, and then you say, what is the average of these 2 words? And you both try to get there, okay? So sometimes you can go off course, and sometimes it only takes a couple rounds. It all depends on the game, and that's part of the fun. So we'll show you how it works, and then we'll talk about it a little bit after. You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Football.
Water.
1, 2, 3. Beach ball. 1, 2, 3. Volleyball.
Ocean.
1, 2, 3.
Sand.
Beach. 1, 2, 3.
Sun.
Coast. 1, 2, 3. Vacation.
Vacation.
So there you go.
It's really stressful.
It is, but you see how it works, and you get the idea. And once you play it a couple times, you guys you get the rhythm, and then you can kind of, if you have more than 2 people, you can kind of do a round robin or something like that. But a couple variations you could do, you could say, okay, we have to pick words, but you have to pick a country, and I have to pick an animal, or something like that. Make it harder on yourself, or you can make it easier. If you only have a couple minutes to play, you just want a quick round, or maybe you're playing with a kid, you can say, we're both going to pick, colors, or something like that. Pick a category. You can make it easier or harder. And also, you could say no repeats, and you can call each other out. There's all sorts of variations, and you get the idea. So each week we're going to teach you a new game. It won't always be us personally, but this show will feature a new game for you to learn to play with whoever you're hanging out with in these times. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Something that I know is definitely true about you. You are very versatile. You can do lots of different styles. And I think the show that really showed off a lot of that was Spamalot.
Oh, yeah, that was a fun one for sure. It was a very special show. I had a blast doing that one because I got to be my weird self and I got to wear pretty dresses and I didn't have to dance. And and I got to come out and just sing these ridiculous songs. And I intermixed a lot of like my impersonations in there. It was like, if there was a role that was like exactly all the things I would want it to be, it would be Lady the Lake.
What have been some of your favorite roles that you've done?
Well, I played Janis Joplin a few times. So, I think just in general, portraying Janis Joplin is something that is near and dear to my heart. I obviously loved Lady the Lake. We spoke of that already. I loved playing the Baker woman at the cabaret in Sweeney Todd. That was really cool to play somebody who was just so far from myself. There's something really freeing when you play somebody that is nothing like yourself. And you can just kind of delve into what their mentality was and their mannerisms. And it was a really, really cool experience doing that show. And then I was also understudy for Mrs. Lovett during that process. And I went on 4 times for that. And so that was crazy. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Learning that many lines and having that nervous moment where you get that call saying you're going to go on that day. And then also ultimately very rewarding when it all works out. And so it's just another reminder of why I love live theater, just the unexpected way about it.
I was in a production of Working in 2012 at RCC, and one of my dear pals, David Sowers. You remember David Sowers?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, David is great. We were in Working together, and he was in a production of Fractured Fairy Tales, and he was just like, "You should come see it." And I was like, "Oh, absolutely, yes." So that was my very first kind of taste of Randall, and I actually still have my ticket stub from it. I went and I found it because I was like, I have it somewhere. I know I do. So very, very first show right there. And then on the back of it is a coming soon of Mice and Men.
Mice and Men.
Which I went to go see as well. So I saw that and I met Rob Pendle and Robin Downward and, very cool, very personable people. And David was like, hey, they're looking for a stage manager for their production of Dracula in the fall. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, that sounds dope. Like, I would love to be a part of it. So I met with Robin and we had a talk, kind of an interview type of a thing. And he decided to hire me for it. And then I did it. I don't know if you see
there's the
my little wall right there. Yep. For all those. So that's how it all started.
So Ella, how did you get started in theater? Well, that sounds awesome. My whole setup.
Oh no.
Let's just
we got ghosts in here. What's the system looking like over there? You got tape? You've got what's going on?
I do. I'll take a picture and send it to you.
Okay, good.
Yes. Yeah, here I'll take a picture of it right now.
Okay.
So anyway, yes, this is a high class operation that we have going here.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
So tell me again how you got started in theater. Kristen mentioned playing Janis Joplin, and if you've ever seen her in that role, you know how incredible she is. Well, it just so happens that Kristen is appearing as Janis at the Collaborative Theater Project. That's happening through August 9th, so be sure to check it out. Coming up, we've got new interview segments with Nico Hewitt and Brandt Nakamura. But first, another part of Ghostlighting that we've enjoyed is our Question of the Week. Tonight, we're looking back at some of our favorite questions and answers.
So I have my girlfriend Megan Kirby, and then we have our gray cat Dorian. Zach and Jeff.
My brother Mark Anthony, my sister-in-law Alexis.
Well, I've got my wife Debbie,
with my cat Augie and my little 6-month-old puppy Bella, and I sometimes see my mom.
And our 2 cats, Castiel and Comet.
my son Sean, and my daughter Sierra.
My wife Brandy.
Our dog Jax.
We have cats, we have dogs, birds.
My boyfriend David and my cat Dorian.
And we just got a turtle named Panzer.
We're quarantining with a zoo.
%. I am going through my entire inventory of sweatpants / pajama pants every day.
I would have to say 80% of the time.
0.
Oh,
I'm in Hawaii. We don't wear pants.
80.
Probably 90%.
Do scrubs count as pajama pants? 100%. 100% of my time then.
If sweats count, I would say about 80%.
None. I actually do not own any pajama pants.
About 30%. I'm still pretty much not as much in pajama pants as I would like to be.
Hi, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Aaron, and welcome back to another week of Randall Improv Games.
So the first level of the game is Expert on Everything. That can be played in a circle with multiple people. It can be played with just 2 of us. It can even be played over Zoom or over the phone. You don't even have to see the person. So Aaron is my expert on everything. And so Aaron, I hear you're an expert on Christmas lights.
I am, actually.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how they're made?
Yeah, of course. Well, Christmas lights, as you probably know, have been around for a really long time. The shape is actually based off of the old icicles that you would see hanging off of people's garages in the wintertime. But they weren't quite colorful enough, so people decided, oh, well, maybe we're just going to use some food coloring on the icicles, but they realized that melted and the dogs got sick. It was really bad. So they decided to switch it over to lights, but still not colorful enough, so they started painting the lights, and that's how we get the modern Christmas Day lights that we see.
Perfect. Yeah, you don't want the food coloring to,
Yeah, poor dogs.
We've got more of our favorite questions of the week and a theater game with the Randall Theater's improv troupe coming up. But right now, more new to you interviews. First, Nico Hewitt takes us on a tour of his bookshelf, which also serves as a portrait of Nico himself and his theater journey. And Brandt Nakamura tells us how singing in the shower and a little Gilbert and Sullivan got him started in a life of performing. Talk about some of the things that are on the shelf behind you. Yeah, just give us a little tour of what's back there.
At the very top, which is not in the image, but at the very top of the shelf, those 2 large objects are, those were 2 things from my first prop class that I ever did, and my first scenic model class.
Cool.
So one of them, they both were examples of kit blasting, which is about taking a bunch of stuff and turning it into something else, depending on how you would, like in film, shoot it up close or whatnot. Then the next shelf down has a collection of antique cameras. There's a couple like little spy cameras and a couple of brownies, and 2 of these fold up, the collapsing ones. This broken vase is a memento of when I was prop master for Mary Poppins in Eugene. And due to their like halfway between plastic and porcelain, they broke very largely. They would fall and they would just crack into like 2 pieces. Except one night, they dropped it and it exploded into like 50 pieces.
Oh no!
It across the entire stage. And the character playing Bert had to improvise about 5 minutes of dialogue for them to clean it all up because they had a giant dance number in the next scene. This is a zombie apocalypse soundstage looking thing. We had to track down. We took a photo of a location on campus somewhere, and then we recreated that photograph as a zombie apocalypse. This was an old church off the outskirts of campus that it was. It's mothballed and condemned, but the theater department used it to hold furniture.
Oh.
But like it was super creepy because all of its windows were concrete filled in and everything like that. So this is the first model I ever created, which was for a version of Medea that I did, which was I set it underneath a overpass, all kind of ramshackle and a little bit kind of post-apocalyptic kind of setting. And
cool.
This little guy is a white model for a set design that I did of The Nerd. And then this is my color rendering of Silent Sky that was at CTP last year. Back here is a color rendering of my set for Inherit the Wind. This model over here is from Iphigenia at Aulus, which is a full color rendering model that we did. This one was a 3/4 thrust style.
Wow, it's a very eclectic collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love that it really represents you well, though, I think. So. How did Brandt get started in theater? When did the bug bite you?
So I was the perennial shower singer, like the shower concerts that you never heard. And I just kept going, and eventually I found myself as one of the only Asian people in the Mikado in my first theater production, which was hilarious. And I had to make my eyes give extra makeup and stuff, which I was questionable choices at that time, but I did it. And but it was a fun experience. That was up in Volcano Village, Hawaii. And since then I did a bunch of different, talent shows and bands and little reality show things, and it's just always been a fun outlet. I'm comfortable on stage, and I don't think a lot of people are, so I figure why not? Some people have more of an option, like, well, I was really good at this and this and this, and I chose this path, and I'm like, I'm not that good at a whole lot of things. I'm pretty good at on stage, so the path was kind of chosen for me, and that's good.
16, Beauty and the Beast, I was a gargoyle.
It was 3rd grade, and I was in a production of the musical version of Jack and the Beanstalk, and I played the Giant.
But my first actual play that I did was Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe at 6 years old. I played the Hedgehog.
I actually didn't do theater until I was a little bit older. I did the Mikado with Kilauea Drama Entertainment Network. This is in Volcano Village, Hawaii, and I was 20 at the time.
In a show based on the Reluctant Dragon called Dragon Behind. It was a musical version of the Reluctant Dragon, and I played the dragon's sort of little weird right-hand thing called a Nebish. I was 5?
I was in kindergarten, and I was a little servant girl who was teaching the princess how to share.
Grade school, we were doing, and it wasn't even a drama class. I'm not sure why we did it, but they were doing something, and I played Teddy Roosevelt.
I was 15, and it was The Man Who Came to Dinner, my sophomore year in high school. I played, he's the father, the owner of the house in which the show takes place. It was a terrible, terrible show, but I had so much fun doing it that I realized this was something I wanted to do.
I have not. I would potentially, depending on how tastefully it was done and if it served the story.
I know that there were some costume mishaps in Forbidden Broadway. So technically, you saw what you saw.
Almost in Young Frankenstein when I was behind the bed sheet, but I wasn't actually naked. But I absolutely would if I was in a production of Calendar Girls.
I have not. Maybe.
I have never done a nude scene on stage. Yeah, I think I would. I'd say I'm pretty comfortable in my own body to do something like that.
Yes, people probably have seen parts of me on stage. It was not intended.
Ooh, I have not. I have not done a nude scene on stage. If I knew going in that a particular role that had a nude scene in it, I would do it if the role was meaningful and important enough to be able to do that.
I have not. I can't imagine anyone wanting to see me nude. Why not? Life's an adventure. Why not?
But really, actually, I really wanted to do the full Monty. I think it would be hilarious.
We did hair in college. That was fun. And yeah, I would totally do it again, as John said, in the right time with the right people.
I have not. I have been part of a nude photo shoot before, but that was a long time ago. Depends on the show. If I believed in the show and the creative process behind it, then yeah, I think I'd do a nude scene.
Honestly, if the show called for it, if it would make a joke land or make a character have a moment that the character needed, there would be no question. I'd be nude in front of the Pope.
All right, everybody, welcome. We have a Zoom meeting going, and it's very exciting because everybody on the Zoom call, without exception, is a tremendous improv player. Now, I know I put a lot of pressure on everybody, and that's fine because we're going to have some fun because we have some people that enjoy improv things and enjoy performing, and no particular reason that we're all talking. We're not planning anything for the future that you need to think about. There's no buzz being generated right now. Just enjoy the show. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the one-word story game, and we're going to go around in a Zoom circle or square or I don't know, some sort of shape, and we're going to tell a story one word at a time. If we tell a short story, we may try another one, or if it goes on too long and starts having chapters, I might call it early. But here we go. So Kathy, start us off with the first word of the story.
Once.
There.
Was.
A.
Hall.
Man.
Who.
Did.
Something.
Terrible.
Then.
When.
The.
Man.
Did.
That.
Terrible.
Thing.
He.
Couldn't.
Summon.
His.
Demons.
Therefore.
He.
Cried.
Is that a good play? Is that?
All right, okay, yeah, I think that tells the whole story. So now that we're warmed up, let's go round two. So how about
Let's start in a different
yeah,
place.
let's start in different. Justin, start us off.
All right. Let's see. Way.
Back.
A lot.
Okay, let's start over.
All right.
Do over.
All right,
do over.
let's try what we got.
I call do over.
Justin.
All right. This is hard. Let's see. In.
Ancient.
Times.
There.
Were.
2,000. Is that one word?
Alligators.
Swam.
Across.
The.
Ocean.
To.
What was that?
To.
Oh. Normandy.
The end. All right, everybody. So there you go. If you have a Zoom call of your own coming up and you want to, get around all that boring meeting stuff, maybe try the one-word story game if you want to play it at home, or if you've got, a bunch of people that you're quarantining with, you can do that as well. Again, hopefully the appropriate amount of buzz was generated by this, and a big thank you to all of our improv players. We have Janina, we have Justin, we have David, we have Megan, we have Brianna, we have Julia, we have John, and we have Kathy. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Ghostlighting.
Well, that's how Ghostlighting and the Randall Theater Company do a clip show. So, a quick update on our search for a space. We made a lot of progress this week, so we're feeling really good at this point. And I promise we're going to reveal the new space just as soon as we can. But we still have a few more details to work out. One thing you need to know, when we come back, things will look a little different. Our highest priority is making sure that our Randall performers, production staff, and you, our patrons, are safe. That means we've got to be creative and make some changes that will allow us to keep bringing you great shows in a safe setting. We'll still have live audiences in to see our shows, but those need to be limited in size. So, like a lot of theaters, we're turning to a streaming platform to help bring our shows to more people who can watch from home. So look for more information on that. In the meantime, you can find us here on the Randall Theater Company Facebook page. If you would like to support the Randall with a donation, just go to the link at the bottom of your screen or click the donate button at randalltheater.com. And if you donate $20 or more, I will send you one of our two-tone Theater Strong wristbands. As always, you can catch up on our Ghostlighting shows anytime on the Randall Theater Company Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. And now, we'd like to close with another one of our favorite clips of a chant that's become a favorite warm-up and diction exercise. Here's KJ Long and his hand drum with his version of Solemn Silence.
To sit in solemn silence. To sit in solemn silence on a cold, dark walk in a pestilential prison with the lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shot by a cheapy, chippy chopper on a big black block. Big black block, sharp, sharp shot by a chippy, chippy chopper on a big black block. Randall challenge, you do it now too!
Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time, but until then, we'll keep the ghost light on for you.